Hey everyone, I'm Aaron Potratz.
And I'm Nathan Hawkins.
We are the Shrink Think
Podcast,
Podcast.
baby.
Enjoy the show.
You
weird.
are. It's really weird. I'm like, why am I doing that? It makes no sense.
Anxiety?
I love anxiety. That's probably what it is. Could it be? Anxiety. It's weird because all of a sudden I'll take a deep breath and go like, why didn't do I not breathe?
I think the last time I did that was yesterday.
Right. That actually might be
deep
true.
breath.
I've been trying to be more intentional, which then makes me feel like, oh, I'm just making a big deal about breathing. You know, I think of that guy that we were in the car with, Uber on the way to Nashville. He went this whole thing. Do you know in the I don't know if you know this, but in the very, very beginning of my practicing, right out the gate, got a supervisor, and that was back in the days of Rob.
Mm-hmm.
There was a group of people that were trying to grow their business together, and one of the ladies in there, I didn't laugh at her, but this is how kind of dumb I am, you know.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking about breath work, and that's the only thing she wanted to do is just teach people how to breathe. And I was like, in my mind, I already do that. So.
I already breathe.
I don't need to do that. I don't need to learn about breathing from you.
How would you say you want me to do that?
So the thing is, when he was talking about all that, I was like, man, that is just kind of, I feel like if she explained it better, maybe I would have, I don't know. I'm not trying to put that on her. But
yeah.
I took it more seriously, and that guy was talking, I'm like, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. No, that's
probably we should breathe.
We should, yeah, I agree. I think it's a great thing.
Is everything on, by the way?
I know. I was going to say, when I turned this on, I was like, okay, anybody listening, you actually have audio here. Because last time, this little button was red for quite a while. That sucked. But
yeah.
I don't know why I didn't think to do that.
Well, it's just like you.
It's just like me. All right. Y'all ready for this? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Shrink Think Podcast. You're all confused because you're like, what? That's not how you intro the Shrink Think Podcast. You're supposed to say, hey, everyone. Welcome to the Shrink Think Podcast. That feels so much better.
Everybody with OCD is like, thank God.
Exactly. I was going to have to cancel my day.
Right.
But now you may continue. You're welcome. Well, we've got a great show today. We were thinking about the topic for this episode, and I've had lots of conversations with people recently. Obviously, I'm a counselor, so I have lots of conversations with people. But one of the things that will happen is that people will come in and they'll be in all kinds of distress, and I will talk with them through that stuff a little bit. And maybe they get to a little bit of a less distressed place, and then maybe they'll take a breath and I'll say, what do you need? That's a question that I'll ask. And oftentimes when people are in this distress, and even when they're not, they'll still do the same thing. They'll kind of point outwards. It's this external locus of control thing where they will describe the things around them, their surroundings, like, well, this person needs to do that, and if that could just happen, and that work just needs to stop, or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, so if life could stop being life, I would feel so much better, right?
Only I had total control.
Exactly. And so I will bring it back to, okay, that's what you want to have happen around you, but internally, what is it that you need? And that's usually a difficult question for people, but it's a critical one because I think when you understand what you're feeling, and some people can do a pretty decent job of this, but at the same time, then they will still do this like, if the things around me were under my control, right? So they're not actually taking care of that feeling and giving themselves what they need to settle themselves inside. And when you can do that, then you can essentially ride the waves of life a lot better, make better decisions, have better relationships, hold better space, just all kinds of things where you're just navigating through life quite a bit better. So that's going to be the topic for today, how to know what your needs are and meet them.
Yeah, what are needs? That's kind of the. And it's funny because there is a list. I have a similar one. You've got this one out that you got laminated. Of course, you haven't laminated. Anyway, but it's the.
I show a lot of people in session. I'm like, hey, take a look at this.
And don't ruin it. I need you to not ruin it. So I'm
preserving it for the ages to come.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a universal human needs list, and I brought that out with people. I'm kind of laughing here because I'm remembering a story where I got it out. This guy goes, "I don't really have any needs," and I go, "It turns out you have a lot of them, unless you are the exception to the word universal."
Right.
And I held up the list, and he goes, "Oh," it was so funny.
My mama didn't say I was that special.
So, and these lists, the list is categorized over subjects and that kind of thing. But a lot of times, you have a great metaphor, by the way, that I want you to share, kind of almost before we keep going here. But suffice it to say, you have needs, but orienting yourself to those is not actually a lot of times very natural. Because I think a lot of times we are almost like defending ourselves or trying to change the world around us the majority of the time, and it entirely skips steps. So
yes, exactly. So as I see it, there's kind of like a time progression that happens here. Like chronologically, these are kinds of, as time is unfolding, these are the things that are happening from start to finish, so to speak, as you're in a situation. And it's helpful, that's just how my brain works to think about it. So there's a situation that happens, and then internally you have feelings about that situation. And as a result of these feelings, needs develop, or the needs show themselves, where maybe you didn't have that particular need before the event happened, but now that it has happened, you need this thing. So I've got two actually laminated things in front of me. One is this feelings wheel that a lot of us counselors have. It's this really colorful one. It's great. I love it because it's important to know your feelings, first of all. So for example, a situation is happening and maybe I feel fear, maybe I feel insecure, I feel worried, something like that. And okay, great, good to know. I'm feeling that thing around me or inside me, and typically we'll jump over this next step of what are my needs because I'm actually trying to solve for them without even knowing what they are, first of all. And the important thing is when I say what the feeling is, if I'm like insecure, nervous, or what was the other one? Worried, for example, then I might have a particular need for security or for safety or for reassurance. These are needs, not I need that person to do this or this thing outside me needs to stop happening or whatever. That's maybe what I think is a solution to the need. So here's the metaphor that I like to use. When you have feelings, it's sort of like something happening in your car, like a light that goes off to tell you your car needs some sort of maintenance. So you're driving around and driving around your car, and then all of a sudden you hear some like whatever, and you're like, what is this, right? This is like a feeling is happening, and it's something pops up on your dash to alert you there's something going on. There's a need that your car has, right? That light that pops up is telling you need something, and it's not I need this light to turn green. It's not I need that car to stop cutting me off, or I need traffic to open up in front of me. That's not what the need is, right? You might want those things to happen, and that would feel great.
I just need the light in my car to turn off.
Yes, exactly. Well, let me tell you, Nathan, there's a great way you can do that. There is a gas station right over there, and if you pull in and put gas in your car to meet that need, the light will turn off, and you will feel so much better, and now you'll be able to breathe.
Breathing is good.
It is. So these universal human needs actually are telling you more about what's going on inside of you in order for you to be like safe, protected, whole, grounded, calm, whatever those words are that you might be lacking. They're giving you these things. so that you can move through the world more safely, more mindfully, more wisely. So if you don't know those needs, it's still there, right? It's still active, and it's activated in you, and you will be functioning out of that need for a need. Meaning, like, you're agitated, you're dysregulated, you're frustrated, you're whatever, and you're trying to make decisions out of that, and that's not a good place to be.
Yeah, if another kind of example of what you just said at the end there, I was thinking about somebody being dehydrated because they need water. If you pretend not to need water, your body still needs it. It doesn't matter if you think it doesn't. It doesn't matter if you're going to try to get it a different way. You are still going to experience the need of not having it.
Or another great example is if you've got kids, especially like, young kids, elementary, middle school kind of a thing. I guess even teenagers can be this way too. If they have not eaten,
oh boy.
Oh boy, yeah, you got a hangry kid, and that is not a fun experience, right? You might that person might think, oh, I'm just going to push through. I'm just going to do sports practice or these lessons, and then I got some homework to do. I don't need to eat. I don't have time for it. Like, that kid is not going to be making smart decisions. They're going to be agitated, irritated, and chomping your head off. Like, that's just not a good place to be operating from.
Right. So you get to where you understand stuff that is happening, and you take the hangry thing. Oh, I'll just feed him and everything will be better. Well, yeah, you'll meet that need and that will change. I mean, that's what you're doing. Mm-hmm. One of the things that happens when you start to think, oh, Nathan and Aaron are badass, I do have a need. I'll start to learn about it.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Then you think, oh, everybody has the same need I have. I will meet that need in them too. And it turns out, because only the needs I have are the important ones. I really need to be seen. So that means everybody needs to be seen. No, they don't.
Not necessarily. It's good. I that's a great point, actually, because if that's you, if you're listening and that resonates with you, I'm going to say, actually, and I mean this with all seriousness, I am not mocking you, congratulations. That actually is a significant insight, because if you can identify that you have that need, it's great. If you think other people also have that same exact need, hold on, back the truck up. Because first of all, you've recognized what you need first, and that's where everything always starts, with yourself. If you can see, know, understand, take care of your needs first, then you will be better equipped and positioned to be able to see and take care of other people's needs, even if they're different from your own.
Yeah, I just Googled universal human needs and it came up, or whatever. I don't know if, Aaron, if you could put in the show notes, like a link or something to a thing that you like, because yours actually looks a little different than mine. But at any rate, because I'm gonna talk a little bit from it, is why I'm saying that. The funny thing is and why I actually brought up this whole idea of when you identify your own needs and then it kind of seems to be others too, is because when I have people look over this list, oftentimes it's a couple, right? And they're looking over this and they will identify just with intuition and eyesight, meaning like you just look over this and all of a sudden stuff pops out. Like, it just pops right off the page, right? And then as, well, obviously I need support in this way. Like, meaning like this is obviously a need. So that's a generalization, right? That one partner's like assuming the other one has the same one, like, and then I have a person go, "What? No, that's not as big a deal as this one." Mm-hmm. And so it's important for you to start to like be curious and interested about, well, what is going on in me? Because a lot of you have been raised this is kind of a very polarized way of saying it, but I think there's a spectrum here. But there's been folks that have been raised more like everything is about you, which means you have all these needs, all of these things that are happening.
All needs. Of them. Right. You have.
Well, and I mean beyond, like, it kind of taught in that way. It's not that you have as many needs as you've been taught. You've been taught to be dependent on some things. And then there's people on the other side of the spectrum that what you need, boy? Like, get up, just pull up your bootstraps and keep going, man. Oh, you got shoes on, you got your underwear on, you got shelter. Move on with it, man. And that's
you have no needs.
You have none.
None.
Right?
Or if you do, it's just like, it doesn't matter. Keep pushing through. Nobody's going to meet them. Like, you just got to keep moving forward and doing these things.
Yeah, don't count on people at all.
Right.
And honestly, this is not about counting on people, by the way. This is about just understanding that and accepting the fact that there are some needs that you have, which they are important to you. And if you respect that about yourself, when you learn that about yourself, it will change how you operate in socially and even in your life by yourself.
Correct. Yeah. I like that. Socially. For example, if you have a need for space, which actually, let me just say, it's funny. I've talked with some people about this with this list in front of me, and I just did this. It happens to me. At the bottom of this list, it says faux needs, which are strategies in disguise. And space is one of them. Space is a strategy trying to meet needs for self-connection. The need is actually self-connection or autonomy or individuality or choices. So in the situation of in groups or social situations, maybe I've been around people, and if I know that I need some social connection, but then I also need self-connection, then that's going to change the amount of time or the boundaries that I have spending with other people. Whereas instead of staying out all night for hours and hours, I might say, you know what, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna go home. I need some time with myself, because I know when I do that, I feel better. I feel more calm. I feel recharged, and I can relax and go to sleep or whatever. So just as some examples here, I'm gonna cover, just so you listening have a sense of what some of these human needs are. There's some physical ones, like clean air and water, nutrition, movement, rest and sleep. There's some things like safety, boundaries, emotional safety, privacy, security. Categories of autonomy or consideration, consistency, fairness are some categories of needs, and under that might be awareness or mutuality. Clarity is another category, which means I might need some information, or I might need shared reality, or to make sense of one's world. You mentioned support. That's another one. I might need nurturing, understanding, reassurance, things like that. So this is important because I'll tell you a little story. I was talking with a gentleman, and he is in a marriage, and he was talking about feeling like things aren't fair. And so we're sort of unpacking this, and I'm saying, what do you need, right? And he's talking about I need the traffic to open up and the light to change and all that stuff. And I'm like, no. What do you need, right? And as we drill down, it wasn't about fairness, the divvying of responsibilities. It was actually, I need support. I don't feel supported. And it was, if you think about that, fairness is quite a bit different from support. Mm-hmm. And the person would do something different to support you versus to be fair to you. So that need actually is going to elicit a different strategy or a different response or solution from somebody. The better you know yourself, the better you can actually meet your needs and fulfill your relationships.
That one of the things I thought about when you shared that is, I wonder, I don't know if this is true for him, but I think this is oftentimes the way, like a way to figure out your needs. If he was looking back and forth and seeing other people be supported, and he was not being supported, that he could misidentify that as fairness, right? So it's not fair that these people get this and he doesn't, type of thing. So one thing to consider is, if you are noticing something like kind of jealous maybe of somebody else getting something, or other people that seem to be able, it's so easy that they blah, 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 probably an indicator of what you actually need. The question then is, you probably don't need exactly what like whatever you're seeing. So you would need to kind of drill down and try to understand this. What really, with this episode in my mind, I'm trying to really pitch to you, I think we are trying to pitch to you, to take this actually seriously. Because there's some people out there to be like, well, they're probably not even listening to this episode.
Right.
I don't need
Skip. I don't have needs.
But I also know that there's grad schools and other therapists that are like saying, listen to these episodes type of a thing. So, well, for you that you were forced into this to listen to it, you have a need to hear this from other people's opinion.
And you also have a need to leave us a 5-star review on all the platforms.
That's right, because now that you're addicted to this, you know, like taking the time and actually doing a little bit of research, honestly, it is important. It's kind of mind-blowing when I literally earlier I was talking about, I'll just show this list to somebody, just show it. The person just looks at it and goes, oh, I got bing, 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 you know, just starts going down the list.
Or the other side, they might look at it and say, wow, I don't know. I don't really know what I need. And that can commence a conversation of like, okay, well, let's talk about what's going on, and then maybe we can help sort of pull out, like, it sounds like maybe this isn't happening. Do you feel supported? Do you maybe you need support, or maybe you need reassurance, you know, whatever the thing may be. But at least you can begin to have the conversation. And I'll just say this one last thing. In terms of conversation, I really love this part of it because I'm really passionate about helping you be the healthiest person that you can be, and helping your relationships be the best that they can be. And this will help you accomplish that. So for example, Nathan, I know you're a friend of mine, and if I need something, if I'm going through something and I know what my need is, sometimes I'll call you. Like actually earlier this week, right? I came into the office and I was like, I need a hug, right? And we just hugged in the hallway, and I was like,
Turns
right?
out I needed a hug too.
It turns out you needed one too. So like knowing that actually is like, it's gold, because in relationships, if you know that you're going through something and you need something specific, you can give that to somebody else, and they can, if they're a good friend and they're able to meet that need, they can meet it correctly or accurately. And that is going to make you feel better. It's going to improve your relationship, versus if I say, hey, I need something else, I need peace, and you're like, okay, I'll leave you alone, and then you don't talk to me, then I'm like, well, this sucks. And then I'm like, I actually need a hug. Why are you leaving me alone, right? We're not doing what the relationship needs, or what I need from this relationship. So it can actually help you have better relationships and feel better as a person.
You know, one other component to that is when, like, you're having this conversation with a friend or partner, and you begin to see, like, you know, like, oh, you really do, I can see how you actually do have that need. I thought this about you, but actually the way you're now telling me, that makes more sense. And it becomes, in a way, almost more believable. And also when your partner or even yourself gets better at stating the needs, you can trust that other person. It's easier to trust them. Meaning, like, not to say that you would distrust them entirely, but think of the times when I'll give one example. I know someone who, they can just, if they need to afford it, they'll afford it. But they'll still tell me, like, they don't have any money, like, to do whatever it is, right? But then spend $1,000 on this other thing that's, like, weird. You know, so then it's not that I distrust them, but if they tell me they can't afford it, or they can't, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure, yeah, right. So that's that same idea with those needs. It's like, after a while you realize, like, oh, you really do need that, and it makes me more comfortable to just trust it, even though I didn't know you needed it.
Because you actually know that person better, and you know their needs. When you know their needs, you know them better. When somebody knows your needs, they know you better. So ask each other, like, people are going through something, how are you feeling? What do you need? Ask yourself, what am I going through? How am I feeling? What do I need?
And with that, we need to say, have a good day.
We need to have a good day.
Yeah. What do you? I need to have a good day. Oh crap! I have to control this.
Yeah, right.
What's going on now?
Not going to happen.
I don't want to, but I got to control the sound. It's just a need I have.
That's good. I like that. I feel like it was definitely different from what we've talked about before.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It definitely was.
Because, yeah, I had a note that was like, know your needs, but that was, yeah, just a different direction, like a deeper direct.
It was more like how to get them. Mm-hmm. These are more like, they're important. You have them. Mm-hmm. these are some examples.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why. Anyway, I didn't try to put that on. I wasn't trying to put that on you to put a link to the thing.
Oh no.
But anyway,
Yeah.
I think yours. I think the list that you found. I don't think it's different in the sense that the words are different, but I like the way it's a little bit more spread out.
Mm-hmm.
And mine didn't have the faux thing on it.
Right. That's super helpful because people will be like, I need this. I'm like, that sounds like control. That's a faux need. Or people will say space or whatever. I'm like, that's also not, like, that happens all the time. That's pretty wild.
I have a really need for space. You
Independence.
wanna be isolated?
Yeah, right. Independence, autonomy, self-connection, maybe is what you need.